we gathered with close friends and family to commit her tiny body to the ground. What can be said at such a time? Hello, my name is Liz, and I live in Reading with my husband Charlie and our 3 children. I once heard someone say, if your philosophy of life has nothing to say at the graveside, it has nothing to say at all. I wonder if you've ever been tested in that way. Perhaps recently, perhaps never. What about at the graveside of a newborn baby? I wonder what you would have said to us as we found ourselves in that very situation in June of 2016. I'd like to share with you the words that were said to us on that dreadful day. Evie was our 3rd child. We already had a son and a daughter, following healthy pregnancies and safe deliveries. But at just a week before her due date, she stopped moving. A scan at the hospital revealed that the unthinkable had happened. She had died. We returned to the hospital 2 days later for her to be born. And then on the 24th of June, 2016, we gathered with close friends and family to commit her tiny body to the ground. What can be said at such a time? Well, the words that we heard were not made up by a person. They were God's words, found in the Bible in the book of Romans. As our pastor James explained these words to us, we heard above all that there was hope. We heard that the world around us was indeed broken and decaying and full of suffering, which we could see in all its horror right there in front of us. We heard that God, the creator of the world, is at work in this world, and he will one day restore the creation to all its beauty and gloriousness. And when that happens, our suffering would pale into insignificance because of how wonderful that would be. We heard that because he loves us, God would work in our grief and sorrow in such a way to bring good from all that we were going through. We heard that because of God's love, we would be given strength to endure what lay ahead. We heard that this love was shown when Jesus Christ died on the cross and was raised to life in victory over death itself. We heard that because of this victory, although we were facing such tremendous loss, death was not the final word. We heard that Evie was in heaven with God and that we would see her again one day. It was these words that gave us the strength to leave Evie's body behind and to make our way home and to begin the new normal every day without her. There are many people suffering and grieving right now. Maybe you are one of them. We knew at that time that our only hope was to believe God's words, to trust them, to live by them, and to turn to them when we felt so overwhelmed with grief and sorrow. There's not a day goes by when we don't think of Evie, especially when we delight in our daughter who was born exactly a year later. But day by day, we have found that what God tells us in the Bible keeps us going. It helps us to remember that he is in control. It gives us courage when we feel scared. It reminds us not to trust in what we can see, but in what we can't see. Even when our lives are full of turmoil, we know that God has given us hope through Jesus Christ, and we pray that you would find that hope too.